with his books, and then Jussie is a dear friend, and to see them work together to bring this to life is really beautiful. So I wanted to start with you, right? It's so beautiful. So I wanted to start with James first. How does it feel? Because I know for many years you wanted to bring this to the screen. How does it feel to finally see this beautiful love story come to life on the big screen?
Good evening. I guess the word I would use to describe seeing it is freedom. There are so many of us who are not here, and too many of us who are here, who are afraid to be. Not just be themselves, but to be. And just watching the film unfold, I know there are going to be so many souls that will be saved because of it. I wish I when I was trying to define myself as a black SGL man, so I think it was a wave of freedom that washed over me. That I've never felt this kind of freedom before. So I hope that many of you, if not all of you, felt it too, and that every set of eyes that lays eyes on it will too. So it's just a damn good movie. And 99% of that belongs to Jussie.
James is the consummate editor, so thank you for the perfect segue. Jussie, I mean, why this movie, why now? And what made you take your own financing and bring it to life?
Why now? Because it should have happened 25 years ago. You know, I remember about 10 years ago, before I did this film called The Skinny, I auditioned for B-Boy Blues, the film, when the great Maurice Jamal was supposed to direct it. And it never got off the ground. And, you know, I, for the longest time, have been trying to build my slate of productions. You know, we are an Emmy-nominated company. I executive produced Giants, and from the great James Bland, and you know, a bunch of other things, but we had never tapped into like film. And you know, with all that I had been going through, I needed to put my creativity into something really beautiful. And for that, I called up James, who has been just such a light in my life, and I said, I called James and Samson. And James had told me for like the last years, like for years, I remember we got the same award at the Gentleman's Foundation in like 2018 in Atlanta. And I remember in his speech, he said, he turned to me randomly, he's like, and Jussie, we still gonna make that movie, Big Boy Blues, right? And I remember being like, yeah. So when the time came and I called him and I said, hey, what's going on with Big Boy Blues, the film? And he's like, nothing, just waiting on you. And he said, do you still want to be in it? And I said, no, I want to direct it. And I officially signed on in June of 2020. June of 2020, and by October of 2020, we were saying action. So we pulled together, myself and my partner Tom Wilson, with a Supermassive movie. We pulled together just an incredible team. I'll get into that in a second, but not to go too off topic, James talks about it all the time. I wish that I had things like this to see growing up, and I feel like my entire life's work has been to create and to play roles and bring other actors opportunities to play roles that we want and we need to see. And I don't just mean same gender loving human beings. I mean, everyone needs to see this deserves to be up there with Love Jones. It deserves to be up there with the greats. It deserves to be up there, and it's just a love story. I grew up my entire life watching love stories with heterosexual couples, and guess what? I identified with that shit because I identified with love. And so for that, I've shown it to, I was watching this film with my brothers, all of my big ass bro gang brothers, and they're laughing like they're watching Friday because we all are love. So it just made sense to, I used to also, side note, I used to go into Beverly Center in LA when I was a child, around 11 years old, and there was a Crown Books, and I used to sneak in there and read this book called B-Boy Blues when everybody was at Rouse or at the other section of the books. And so James has always been such a, like I said, a light to me. So it was just, I don't even know if I asked the question. I'm so full right now. But just, yeah, that's why I'm doing, I don't know. But.
No, so that's beautiful. So would you please introduce us to Mitchell and Riley?
May I, James? Okay. I could not find, at the last minute, our brilliant actor had to drop out of playing the lead, and I was frantic. And I had been brainstorming with two people. There's Samson! Samson, you here? What the fuck? Get your ass up here! I thought you wasn't here, Samson! Y'all give it up for Samson McCormick! This is our co-EP, the great Samson McCormick, y'all. Samson, sit down. So, I called up Terrell McCraney, who's one of my closest friends, and I said, who the hell would be good to play Mitchell? And he, with the highest of recommendations, we came up with the great, my little brother, Timothy Richardson. Then I had to get on the phone with James Bland. And I had to say, who the fuck are we gonna get to play Raheem? That was the most difficult character to cast because it's such a legendary character because all of us have dealt with a Raheem or a Four. You know? And James was like, yo, there's this guy, and you know, he was in Triangle, and he was in this, and he was in that, and he was, you know, it's just, he's good, he's really good. I was like, all right, is he really good? He's like, he's really good. So he read, he's one of the most fearless actors that I've ever worked with in my life, and I've worked with some pretty fucking great actors. This young man is one of the most fearless actors. He committed in a way that I have not seen in a really long time, with Thomas Mackie.
So I'm gonna just, and I'm coming back to you because this is my heart right here. So how is it for you all to step into these iconic roles and bring them to life? Whoever wants to go first.
No, I don't mind going first. I would say, after I read the book, it took me a while to really tap in to see who Raheem really was, because I initially thought he was a thug or like just some hard around guy. And so after completing the book, like the second time, I was like, oh, he's just a regular man who identifies as, like, you know, same gender loving. And how he mentioned this fearless, because, you know, growing up in his community, it wasn't easy for somebody to have and raise a child and to be with a woman and also be comfortable with allowing his family and friends to see him with, you know, a male. And so it gave me confidence to kind of change the narrative of how people perceive gay males. And so it was an honor actually to play that role, because me personally, I was tired of seeing, you know, how same gender loving men are depicted on film. And so it was really good to play Raheem, to bring him to life. So I was.
And I guess I'm next, huh?
Yeah.
Well, this black man thanks each and every one of you for showing up tonight. When I tell you, it's like a dream come true to sit here right now, and I've had conversations with God about doing Q&As, really important work that can stand the test of time, work that is inclusive, work that's important, work that helps people feel seen. My agent called me and she said, Jussie Smollett wants to have a meeting with you on Zoom. I said, for real? Nah, she's like, no, for real, he really does. And my life forever changed. Jussie, when I tell you I have so much love for you, I love you so much. I love you so much. This role was a dream come true. James, your words, I found so much of myself in Mitchell. The audition process, it was so amazing. I gotta tell this quick little story because this is beautiful, right? I was originally going to play Mitchell's ex. Livingston.
Yes.
I was gonna play Livingston, and I felt just being, a small puzzle piece in this big puzzle, I felt honored already. God had other plans. Jussie called me and he said, how would you feel about being the lead? I was terrified. I said, I don't think, could I really do this? And he installed so much confidence in me. We had a conversation. He said, yes, you can. This is divine. I'm coming to you for a reason. The great James Earl Hardy was there for my last audition, and he said, that's my Mitchell. And from that day on, when I arrived to New York, the next day, I booked the role, and he said, you should be on a plane yesterday because we need to start shooting. I showed up, from the crew to the cast. Everybody had so much confidence in me being number one on that call sheet. When I tell you, I showed up every day trying to just authentically play Mitchell. I didn't want to play a caricature of who Mitchell is. I wanted to really show his life, show an aspect of his life that we don't usually see in the medium of film. So to see this beautiful piece of art, I'm probably gonna be a puddle after this, so I'm trying to hold it together, but I have my best friends in the crowd who traveled all the way to New York with me, and it's just, I stand here and I look at you, I'm telling you, God is so good.
I wanna stay with you two for a second. Your chemistry is incredible. Incredible. How did you all, obviously James's words and Jussie's direction, but how did you all get into character for this and have that type of romance and that tension? It is real. It's real.
You see how good looking this man is?
I'm clear. You're all clear. Putting hard, huh?
Let me tell you, when we first, even on the first day, you know what? Me and Mackie we leaned on one another. When we stepped into it, I remember telling you, it was like, we're going to war. And I'm your partner, I got your back. In every scene we step into, we're gonna be going through an emotional roller coaster, trying to tell the stories of these characters. And if you ever, have a day where you feel like you're doubting yourself, I'm here. If you're carrying external emotion, because we were both still going through personal things in our lives that we poured into the art, and we just worked every day at just being there for one another, and I think that's what brought us close, and just.
It was, and I would say we really started spending a lot of time together during the film. We separated ourselves from the rest of the cast and started working out together, just reading together a lot and understanding each other's boundaries and how we react to each other, and that's where we found the chemistry, I would say.
I love it. Sam McCormick.